film fanatics and connoisseurs of cinematic, well, let's just say experiences. Welcome back to Crappy Film Reviewer, the only place brave enough to wade through the celluloid swamp so you don't have to. Tonight, however, things are going to be a little different. Usually I'm here to dissect the cinematic turds that somehow manage to escape the flushing toilet of Hollywood. But tonight, my mates, we're talking about a film so good, it's almost, dare I say, not crappy. That's right, pull up a pew and crack open a cold one, because we're diving headfirst into James Cameron's 1991 masterpiece, Terminator 2: Judgment Day. This isn't your average tale of robots from the future trying to give someone a bad day. Oh no. This is a film that grabs you by the throat, gives you a good shake, and leaves you begging for more. It's got more twists and turns than a politician's promises, more explosions than a dodgy fireworks factory, and enough leather to outfit a small country. So, buckle up, Buttercup. Tonight we're admiring a finely aged vintage, a cinematic sausage sizzle, where all of the snags are perfectly cooked. Get ready for my take on Terminator 2, a film so action-packed it'll leave you feeling like you've gone 10 rounds with Arnie himself. Let's get stuck in. Terminator 2: Judgment Day throws us headfirst into a thrilling, high-stakes race against time. A 1991 science fiction action spectacle directed by James Cameron, set a decade after the original. We find Sarah Connor, once a terrified waitress, transformed into a hardened warrior, driven by the grim prophecy of a future ruled by machines. Her son, John Connor, is now a spirited, street-smart kid destined to lead the human resistance. The film kicks into high gear with the arrival of two new Terminators from the future. The first is the T-1000, a shape-shifting, liquid metal assassin, virtually unstoppable and programmed to eliminate John. The second is a reprogrammed T-800, identical to the one that hunted Sarah in the first film, but now sent to protect John.
Come with me if you want to live.
As Sarah and John grapple with this bizarre turn of events, they must learn to trust the very machine that once threatened their lives.
Affirmative.
No. You gotta listen to the way people talk. You don't say affirmative. You say no problemo.
The T-800, under John's command, begins to learn about humanity, adding a surprising layer of heart to the explosive action.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Their mission is clear. Survive the relentless pursuit of the T-1000 and prevent Judgment Day, the apocalyptic nuclear attack by Skynet that will decimate humanity. This involves a daring escape from a mental institution, a high-octane chase through the streets of Los Angeles, and a desperate confrontation with the forces of Cyberdyne Systems, the corporation unwittingly developing the technology that will bring about their downfall. The film culminates in a spectacular showdown at a steel foundry, where the ultimate battle between the T-800 and the T-1000 unfolds. In a display of courage and sacrifice, they confront their enemies, pushing the boundaries of what's possible and ultimately altering the course of the future. The ending offers a bittersweet victory, suggesting that while the future remains uncertain, humanity has a fighting chance thanks to their bravery and resilience. Rightio, settle in, you cinematic connoisseurs, because we're about to peel back even more layers of this glorious onion that is Terminator 2. When I say the plot's tighter than a drum, I'm talking a drum that's been meticulously tuned by a perfectionist with OCD. It grabs you by the narrative plums right from the start, and the tension just keeps building. And while it's a sequel, let's be honest, most sequels are like reheated leftovers. But Cameron, he served up a gourmet meal, taking the familiar ingredients and whipping up something surprisingly original and undeniably satisfying. Any plot holes? You'd have more luck finding a drop bear in Bondi. The pacing is so slick, it's like watching a well-oiled machine. A killing machine, in this case. But you get my drift. And that climax? It's not just an ending, it's a full-blown release of tension, leaving you feeling like you've just run a marathon of pure cinematic pleasure. Now, the characters. Calling them not cardboard cutouts is like saying the Sydney Harbour Bridge is a bit of metal. Linda Hamilton's Sarah Connor undergoes a transformation so intense it's like watching a caterpillar not just turn into a butterfly, but a heavily armed butterfly that could bench press a small car. Her portrayal is raw, visceral, and makes you believe she could stare down the Terminator and make him blink. And Arnie, seeing him evolve from the ultimate expressionless assassin to a slightly bewildered but ultimately protective father figure is pure gold. His attempts at understanding human nuances, like that awkward affirmative, are both hilarious and surprisingly endearing. It's like watching a robot slowly discover its humanity, one deadpan line at a time.
Hasta la vista, baby.
And then there's Robert Patrick's T-1000, smooth as a baby's backside and just as unsettling. His relentless pursuit is the stuff of nightmares. He doesn't need to choose scenery. His mere presence is enough to make your blood run colder than a penguin's. Well, you know, these actors don't just say the words, they become these characters, selling the high-stakes drama with a conviction that's more potent than a double shot of espresso. Visually, T2 is still a bloody wet dream for action junkies. Cameron's eye for spectacle is sharper than a razor-toothed piranha. The way he seamlessly blends those tangible, gritty, practical effects with groundbreaking CGI is like watching the past and future of filmmaking collide in a glorious, explosive menage a trois. That T-1000 morphing through solid objects still looks more convincing than half the CGI we see today. The camera work isn't just functional, it's dynamic and immersive, throwing you right into the heart of the action, making those chases and explosions feel like they're happening in your lap. In a good way, of course. It's visual storytelling that's both breathtaking and utterly effective. That final shot of the T-800 lowering himself into the molten steel, a poignant and visually unforgettable climax. But hold your horses. There's even more intellectual foreplay to be had. Beneath all the glorious metal-on-metal action, T2 actually has a surprisingly sharp mind. It delves into the dangers of our growing reliance on technology, a theme that's aged like a fine wine, and the idea that even a machine designed for destruction can learn, adapt, and maybe even develop something akin to empathy. That's some seriously thought-provoking stuff, suggesting that maybe, just maybe, there's hope for us fleshy humans yet. It's not just a brainless bangfest, it's got a surprising amount of cerebral satisfaction on offer. Technically, T2 is a bloody symphony of cinematic perfection. The editing is so tight, it could make a drum skin sing. The sound design is so immersive, you'll swear you can smell the burning rubber and feel the shockwaves of the explosions. And that iconic score by Brad Fiedel. It's the kind of music that gets your adrenaline pumping faster than a startled Roo on a trampoline. And those special effects still look more impressive than most of what Hollywood churns out these days. It's a technical masterclass that elevates the entire viewing experience. And while T2 delivers all the high-octane thrills you'd expect from an action sci-fi flick, it throws a cheeky little spanner in the works by turning the ultimate villain of the first film into the unlikely hero. It takes the familiar tropes and gives them a playful little twist, setting a new gold standard for sequels that many have tried to emulate, often with less penetrating results. It proved that you can have your explosive cake and eat it too, delivering thrilling action with genuine emotional resonance. Right then, you magnificent bastards. After all that metal-on-metal action and enough explosions to make a bloke's head spin, what's the final word on Terminator 2, Judgment Day? Well, let's just say this flick is more satisfying than an ice-cold beer on a stinking hot arvo. It's got more layers than a bloomin' onion at the pub, and each one is pure, unadulterated cinematic goodness. Cameron knew how to crank things up, giving us a sequel that not only matches the original, but arguably gives it a fair dinkum run for its money. The action, it's like a non-stop party in your eyeballs, leaving you breathless and wanting more, just like a good night out. The characters, they've got more depth than the Mariana Trench, especially Sarah Connor, who goes from damsel to dame with serious grit. And Arnie, well, seeing him as the good guy is like finding a $20 note in your old jeans, a bloody pleasant surprise. Sure, it's a bit rough and tumble, and some of the dialogue might make you raise an eyebrow higher than a startled cockatoo, but that's part of its charm, isn't it? It's a film that knows what it is and isn't afraid to give it to you straight. So, is Terminator 2 a good movie? Mate, it's better than a meat pie with sauce after a long day. It's a ripper of a film that's like a bloody cinematic orgasm. If you haven't experienced this thrust and power, you're missing out on a true blue classic. Go on, get stuck into it. Trust me, it's an experience that still delivers on every single level. You won't be left feeling unsatisfied. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and maybe chuck us a few $2 if you're feeling generous. You stay crappy, internet.
Flicks so foul they make you break.